What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 42 of The Climb here with Luzenak. Today, we have a game against Nim, away from home, a game that I would quite like to win. We've not been on the best run of form recently. We're not in danger of relegation. Don't panic too much. You know, things after yesterday have continued to, well, stay as good as they were. But Nim is the first game in a little while, which I think we can view as really winnable. Now, since you were last here, we've had a youth intake. Of course, the transfer window had already slammed shut. And to be honest, we've just been plodding on through a season, which at this point kind of looks destined to be a bit of a mid-table finish, not an anti-climactic ending, just one of those endings where we might not have a great deal to play for come the end of it. But as I said, a youth intake has happened. If you're wondering, Jack, how good was your youth intakes? They've always been awesome. It wasn't that great. I've signed a handful of the players, but in terms of the pick of the bunch, these were the two best young players that we have. Berriant, who just isn't very good. I'm trying to be positive, everyone. He's just not very good. Similar story with Amadou. Just not very good. That should be the title of today's episode. Just not very good, because that's kind of how things have been since you were last here. So yeah, there isn't a Blaze or a Kofi, unfortunately, this year, so we are going to have to do without. It's worth noting that, obviously, Brahim, who joined us last year as our hot kind of intake player, he's done some okay development this year, although it's come about that he is inconsistent and injury-prone. Obviously, we were hoping he would follow in the footsteps of the likes of Kofi and also Julien Blaze. I think when you look at him now, he's got the quality to do it, but I do wonder about some of those cons. I think they could come back to bite him longer term. But anyway, since we last here, we've played a fair few games. Of course, yesterday, we got 2 wins in a row. 2 games where we went a goal down and came back. And while the very first game that I played off camera, we continued on with our winning ways. It was our 4th win in a row for the month of February, and it was against Nantes in this game. Blaze with both goals. Yes, Julien Blaze is now showing the quality of, I guess, the player that Napoli thought they were signing. He is our top goal scorer in the league. Just as a reminder, we've got him on loan to the end of next year. And he's been pretty nifty, and this was definitely one of his more nifty performances. A really, really good performance. He has looked superb. He hasn't developed that much this year, which is somewhat of a concern. But 7 league goals to his name. 2 were in this game here. Also now, as you can see, capped for the France under-21s, which is very, very exciting indeed. Unfortunately, since you were last here, that is the only win that we've had, because in the very next game, we didn't get a nice result. We didn't get a Nice result. They got a Nice result. It finished 2-1 to Nice. That was awful, wasn't it? Molon Adriano, the young Brazilian centre-back who was away on international duty just yesterday, he got the opening goal for us. Unfortunately, with him at the back, we looked a bit of a mess. And, well, frankly, they scored 2 and they probably could have scored a few more. In the end, Nice ran out 2-1 victors. We took the lead, disappointing to surrender it. But away from home against Nice, really, really fiercely kind of competitive performance. That's all I can really ask for from our players. Unfortunately, as I said, things haven't really got easier. We've had some tough games here, and while the next 2 games against Lille and Lyon were just that, they were tricky. The first one against Lille, we will perhaps look at as a opportunity missed. Dirk Proper got us off to a flyer, of course, the replacement for Kahinde. Unfortunately, in the 87th minute, Jonas Wind, he blew a gust and the ball ended up in the back of our net. It finished 1-1. A draw is not bad though. Where, if we just look actually in the league, where are Lille in the league? Because I feel like they're doing pretty well. They're in 4th. We've taken on Lyon in 2nd. We took on Nantes, who we beat. We've taken on Nice. We've played a few of the teams above us. Today, as I said, we've got Nîmes. They've not won in their last 4. I think this is where the winning ways return. And while they didn't return against Lyon, we lost 4-0. We didn't look very good. It was almost as if they're the team predicted to finish 2nd this year, and we're just not. So that was a defeat. And the next game, a bit more disappointing perhaps, against Metz, the team who were promoted with us last year. In this game, they really just put us to the sword. They had some really, really good finishing, and through some crazy long shots and crazy strikes, come half-time, they were 3-0 up. Yeah, the latter of their goals, Stevanovic's goal in the 45th minute, the outside-the-foot effort was superb. We did get 1 goal back through Kofi, but unfortunately it came with 20 minutes left, and we never really looked like getting back into this game. Metz ended up winning it, and a second defeat a second defeat in a row, a second home game as well in a row without a win. And, well, when you look at our away form, it's been patchy to say the very least. So against Nîmes today, I do think they are there for the taking. Anyway, just in terms of the kind of team news, if you were wondering, we've got a few players who are injured, which is a bit of a problem. You can see here Galvez is out for 6 weeks. Just as I was bigging him up yesterday, the game smites him down with an injury. He may well miss the majority of the rest of the season. We are in the middle of March already, it is worth noting. Unfortunately, Proper is also out injured with a groin strain. Of course, we've brought him in and he really has slotted in nicely as the deep line playmaker. I don't see him as the long-term solution because we're going to have Xavi Simons joining us from PSG. But make no mistake, he's been a big part of our team, and in his absence, we are lacking at centre mid. To the point where, right now, Willian is our deep line playmaker, which, to be fair, it's where I brought him in and thought he would end up playing for Willian. And, well, in his final season here, his swan song, he's not really done any singing. He's lost his voice. He has just been pretty awful. Even when we've given him chances on off the bench, he struggled. Played him in a few different areas. I can see why he played 5 games for Leicester in 2 years. Put it that way. And, well, that's not all that we're missing today, because Paul Suarez is suspended. Yes, the Colombian, who I have been sticking in at right back with Galvez out injured, is also missing. So we are very light on right back. So Olawale, please don't get injured, otherwise I'm looking at Billingy in the reserve team to be your replacement. The good news is the rest of the team is kind of, settling down. I talked about Marlon Adriano. He's got a goal for us. 18 years old. He looks like an absolutely superb centre-back, to be honest, for the kind of long term, to the point where actually I might play him ahead of Mercier here. Mercier has been one of our best performers, but I feel like he's always had an inflated average rating because of the goals he gets, which I suppose isn't something you can just disregard. Of course, Edgar Sandy got a long-term injury just around kind of January transfer window, and since then, even when he's been fit, I've not been playing him. And the reason I've not been playing him is because Johnny Byrne, frankly, has looked absolutely top draw. The Irish centre-back I'm becoming quite fond of. He's a really, really good player, super consistent, and he made a load of last-ditch tackles. I feel like the average rating doesn't reflect what you sometimes see in the 3D match engine. This man has got a good slide tackle in him, a good desperate lunge to block. And, well, you can see here, actually, looking at our defence, Tom Hayden, the left-back, another player who joined us in January, in Galvez's injury at right back, in his absence, at left back, Tom Hayden's kind of unleashed the inner Galvez ghost. 7.36 average rating after 7 matches is really, really good, especially for us, a team who, frankly, we just don't keep clean sheets. We're just not very good at it. So the team does have a bit of a makeshift appearance about it. Arrieta, I really wanted to play today. He was injured for both games yesterday. Unfortunately, he twisted his knee against Metz, and I'm looking at his kind of condition now, and he cannot start this game. So his debut as a starter for us is going to have to wait, at least in terms of in live comms. Now, Campo I could bring in, but actually, the player who I am going to bring in is going to be Harvey Elliott. Liverpool loanee, we've got him in. I feel like we need to give him a little opportunity, a chance to show us what he's all about, cutting in on his left foot. As I said, this game against Nimes is one for the taking, but I'm sure they will feel the exact same way. It's the two teams who just aren't in form playing against each other. In the final third, Palisade still hasn't scored for us. Now, because we're in mid-table, I'm willing to persist with him, but it'd be fair to say I've been disappointed with what he's offered us so far. He frankly hasn't been good enough. Kofi's recent form has been hit and miss. Martinez as well hasn't really wowed me. There is certainly part of me that wants to just start Blaze each and every game because he has been one of our kind of slightly more informed players, and actually I might drop him in for Kofi this game, but because he's in on loan, similar to Harvey Elliott, I don't want to start loanees too often. I talk about it a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of loanees. I realise that's incredibly ironic when you realise that I've got Thomas at the club, who has been our first choice goalkeeper for the last 3 seasons and is in on loan. But let's not forget, he is on loan until the end of next year. So he's a long-term player at this point. He's going to have played for us for 4 years come the end of last year. At that point, he might as well have signed for us permanently, I suppose. But all in all, things are kind of plodding on. As you've seen from the form, we've been very, very hit and miss. We've been very unfortunate with injuries, which have definitely impacted things. We've had to rotate the team around quite a lot. In fact, if we sort by date here, you can see just in the month of March, we've had 7 injuries to first-team players. I mean, some of these players have recovered, to be fair, but just missing them at crucial games. We've not been able to really have a settled 11, I guess, is the main excuse I'm looking to deploy here. Even since the start of February, actually. You can see it here. Aretea's had 4 injuries. Came in with high hopes of him. Maybe there's a reason Barcelona let him go. Maybe he's injury-prone and we just don't know it yet. That would not surprise me at this point, but, I mean, let's be frank. We got him in for 2.8 million, and I think he's a £2.8 million player and then some. Current value, 6 million. Yeah, we're not doing too badly. Anyway, let's get a game here and a win here against Nim. Unfortunately, even a win is not going to be enough to lift us up in the league too much, but it would hopefully edge us closer to mathematical certainty of avoiding the drop. The teams in the relegation zone have completely petered out to the point now where I don't see us going down, which I suppose is great news. There really isn't that many games left of the season. In fact, I imagine tomorrow's episode is going to be the end of season live com, which is kind of exciting. And well, following on from that, obviously we're going to be going into the new year. Just one little bit as we go into the game today. If the game looks different, please let me know. I'm aware that we've had some issues with laggy recording stuff, especially in the 3D match engine. To be honest, my PC is 3.5 years old, and I think it is just starting to give out a little bit. It's a little bit tired from rendering videos daily and such, but I have played around with some render settings, so hopefully things look much better. If they do look better, please let me know. These are the recording settings rather than the render settings. I'm going into YouTuber stuff now. Essentially, when I make a video, the video of me playing is like an ingredient, and you have to bake it with an intro, with an outro into a new video, a bit like a cake. And so the temperature we've got the oven on for the cake is the same. We're not changing how the final video comes out, but the cake itself, how it's made, the ingredient is a bit different. So yeah, let me know if it looks smoother. I hope it does. If it doesn't, I'm going to cry. And if it looks worse than it looked before, well, this episode might not see the light of day, and I might have to record another episode of the very next live com. But hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, I have tested it. We look a bit smoother today, buttery, perhaps. I would like to see our football look a little more buttery as well. That would be nice, although we were on the back foot here early on, which is not really what you want to see. Away from home, though, I would love to get a result simply because we've not been very good away from home. So, as I said, after this game, we've got 8 games left of the season. You can see Brest, I think, are actually winning their current match. They're down in the relegation zone, but we are double-figure points away from the drop, and I'm feeling pretty good about things now. After a wobbly season, I feel like we're steadying the ship, although if we lose here, I would be a bit miffed. We've done quite well in live comms lately, winning matches. I'm hoping that this is kind of a good luck charm thing, and we're going to be able to get a good result here. We've gone from a season where I thought we were going to be in a towel situation, going down to League 2 with a load of money to spend, to, I think, through some kind of re-evaluations of how we play, through some reinvestment into the first team, finding ourselves in a spot now where I genuinely think we look like a League 2 team, or a League team, not League 2. That would mean that I'm expecting us to get relegated. No, we look like a League team now, and of course we've got a load of players joining us in the summer, which is very exciting. Of course, we're proper out injured, and Willian today slotting in at deep line playmaker. I'm kind of ruining my luck that we couldn't sign Javi Simmons sooner, but we're going to just have to make do and hope that we can, well, soldier on through this, I suppose. They are on the attack once more here. Only half an hour gone, and well, after half an hour, they've ripped us apart. Ripart. Doesn't work as a pun, does it? I've tried. Renault gets the goal. Ball whipped in from this side out on the left-back position where just defending a little bit narrow. Julien Blaise not doing his defensive duty. And of course, we are a little makeshift. I do not like our midfield right now. I like Suarez and I like Proper as our midfield. We've got Fomba, you might have noticed, playing at left centre mid, alongside Willian at deep line playmaker. It's not what I love. It's not how I want us to play, to be honest. But I think, you know, first year in this league, we always knew squad depth was going to be a bit of a challenge, and I think we have faced that a little bit with some of the injuries we've had. Obviously, we added in some new players in January, but we are suffering with injuries. And Blaise, speaking of the devil, is now going to pick up an injury of his own. Let's bring in Kofi. And you know what? Harvey Elliott, you have been, I want to say hit or miss. You've just been a miss, mate. Let's bring in Aritea. He's had 4 injuries in less than 3 months. Can he avoid injury today? Can he show us what he's about in a live com? Playing out on the right-hand side, the Spaniard. And well, speaking of the devil, here he is, Aritea. I mean, he's former Barcelona, right? Let's hope he's less of a Bojan and more of a... Who's a good player to come through Barcelona's academy? Ansu Fati. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? Although Pelissard has scored. He's got his first goal for the club. Ignore that 7th goal for the season. That's a lie. That's from when he was playing in the other league. He's finally scored. It's taken him 6 matches. Oh, I'm very, very happy with him. And it was nice to see Olawale at right back getting the assist. The young Nigerian signed for the price of a moderately priced laptop. Obviously, with Galvez playing at right back, he hasn't found himself in the team too much. He's been jetting off on international duty with the African Cup of Nations, but he's turned provider there. And I'm very happy to see Pelissard get a goal for us, finally. It's been a long time coming. I feel like with strikers, they go through dry spells, then they get 1 or 2 goals, and the confidence grows. Maybe he could get another before the day is over. Aratea wins the ball, strikes the ball, straight at the keeper. The baker collects that bun. He's going to put it in the oven. It's not been cooked long enough. I know, well, 15 minutes and counting in the oven. Can we come out with a victory? Can we come out well done? Time continues to waste away here. We've got one last sub in our back pocket. I'm going to bring in Big Dub for Martinez. That's the secret weapon that we need. Big Dub. I can see it now. Near post header. Hayden with the long throw. Where is Big Dub? He's not there. The ball is headed away. Nim themselves need wins. Although we are away from the drop, Nim are a few places behind us and will desperately want to win this game that Kofi's putting a big tackle for. Hayden does his business at left back. Now with Pelissard, the goal scorer. Maybe our leading man up top. Look at this run. Can he finish it? I really wanted him to score that. It would have been so good. Unfortunately, the keeper holds firm. There's 4 minutes left. Let's get shouty. There's 20 seconds left, Jack. You've left that far too late. It finishes 1-1. It's not a bad result. It stops the rot of back-to-back defeats. We've not lost that many in a row, but we've lost a few in a row. And away from home, I think we'll take that. When you consider the injuries, when you consider the fact that we don't really have a deep line playmaker in the team right now, and it is such an important kind of, I guess, role in our system, it could have been worse. What it does mean is we are 5 games without a win now. I've talked about it before, but realistically, in this league, you need 38 points to mathematically avoid the drop. We need 1 more win in our last 8 games, and whilst, yes, we have got the likes of PSG still to play, I've got faith that we're going to be able to make it through. And when I join you for the end of season wrap-up tomorrow against Nancy, we're going to be in a good little spot. Fingers crossed that is actually going to be the case. But anyway, that kind of wraps things up from me today. A little less going on. As I said, we're kind of cruising now towards this mid-table finish, which I'm pretty content with considering where we were. And it's nice to obviously show you how things are developing. Unfortunately, injuries are ravaging the team a little bit. I mean, you can see here, Blaze is now out injured for a couple of weeks. Marlon Adriano is suspended, so that's another bit of rotation needed. Eventually, we'll get a settled 11. It may even be next season before we have one, but I imagine the 11 that you saw start this game today probably ain't going to be the starting 11 that start the game against Nim. If it is the case, then something's gone very, very wrong, and we've had a load more injuries to the same players again, which would be unfortunate. Anyway, that's going to wrap up everything from me. As I said, if you noticed any difference with the recording quality, both good or bad, let me know it down in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope the lag was a little bit better when it came to all the 3D-ness. And yeah, that's going to be all from me today. It is me, Jack. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'm out.